What is up, everybody? This is Famous and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the top 10 Generation 3 Pokemon that are going to be introduced into Pokemon Go. We are excluding all of the legendary Pokemon just to make it fun. And this is all in celebration of hitting 5,000 subscribers. And for me to be able to say thank you to you, I went absolutely all out on this video, so I hope you enjoy. Before we get into the video, I did want to let you guys know that I got all of this information from rankedboost.com. I will have a link to it in the description if you would like to read it after the video is done. But there is something that we definitely need to point out before we get into the list, and that's just to know that they accidentally switched the ground and rock symbol with each other, but I'll go ahead and clarify that on the first one just so no one gets confused. So coming in at number 10 on our list is, in fact, Aggron. So Aggron is going to have a max CP of 2,286. Don't let that fool you though, because the defensive stats are absolutely huge, so this is still going to be a very good Pokemon that you want to have. Aggron is a dual type Pokemon of Steel and then also Rock. So if you look on the left side of the screen, we can go ahead and talk about the evolution tree. So up first we have Aggron, evolves into Lairon, and then finally into Aggron, and it will follow the typical candy structure of 25 and then 100 to finally evolve it into Aggron. But I thought something that would be really cool is to go ahead and take a look at the potential moveset that we can have with these Pokemon, just so we can go ahead and get a little bit ahead of the game. So up first with the quick moves, we potentially will see Bullet Punch, Rock Smash, and then Metal Claw. And then for the charge moves, Flash Cannon, Ancient Power, Gyro Ball, and then Rock Blast. So the best combination as far as damage per second goes is going to be Rock Smash and then Flash Cannon. So obviously two different types going on with that. So you would have to choose what you want to do from an offensive or defensive perspective. So coming in at number 9 on our list is, in fact, Gardevoir. So Gardevoir is going to have a max CP of 2,341, but don't let the CP fool you. Gardevoir is going to act a lot like some of the other Pokemon, such as Espeon, Alakazam, definitely going to be that glass cannon type Pokemon, but Gardevoir is also a dual type Pokemon, including Psychic and then also Fairy type. If we look off to the left side of the screen, we can go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree, starting off with Ralts to Kirlia, and then finally to Gardevoir. Once again, following the typical candy structure of 25 candies and then 100 candies to get to Gardevoir. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the potential moveset. So this is what I'm very excited about as far as Gardevoir is concerning. So for the quick moves, we have Confusion and then Psycho Cut. And then for the charge moves, we've got Future Sight, Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, and then Disarming Voice. So this is going to be a very good combination if you are talking about damage per second. You've got Confusion and then also Future Sight as an option. So I am personally very excited to be able to add another excellent Psychic type Pokemon into my team. So coming in at number 8 on our list is, in fact, Sceptile. So Sceptile is going to be the first of the Generation 3 starter Pokemon to make an appearance on the list. Will it be the last? I don't know. You're going to have to stick around to find out. So Sceptile's top CP is going to be 2,341. Personally, very excited about that. I think having another grass-type Pokemon as an option is something that I'm personally looking forward to maybe get past Exeggutor and potentially Venusaur. So like I said, Sceptile is in fact a grass-type Pokemon, but let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree on the left side of the screen, starting out with Trico to Grovyle, and then finally to Sceptile. And as far as the candy goes, you are going to follow the typical 25 to 100 candy on the evolution side of it. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the moveset. For the quick moves, you've got Bullet Seed, Razor Leaf, and then Vine Whip. And then for the charge moves, you've got Leaf Blade, Petal Blizzard, Mega Drain, and then Power Whip. So the ideal moveset in my mind is going to be Razor Leaf on the quick move, and then secondly for the charge move is in fact going to be Petal Blizzard. Don't let Petal Blizzard throw you off. You might be thinking, well man, we wanted a Solar Beam. Petal Blizzard is actually a very good move and is very close in nature with Solar Beam, so they're kind of neck and neck. If you actually go look at Venusaur, you'll see that for Venusaur, Petal Blizzard actually does a little bit more damage per second than what Solar Beam does. So don't dismiss it just because Solar Beam isn't available. Sceptile is going to be an absolute incredible Grass-type Pokemon for you to have on your team. So coming in at number 7 on our list is in fact Flygon. So Flygon is once again another dual-type Pokemon. So we've been seeing a lot of that on this list. Flygon is going to have a max CP of 2,542, and then it is a dual-type of Ground and then Dragon. Personally, I'm excited to see another Ground-type Pokemon. I think that's going to be a potentially very good option for us to see. And let's go ahead and look at the evolution tree. So up first, you have Trapinch, and then Vibrava, and then finally evolving into Flygon. And once again, we are following the typical candy structure of 25 and then 100 to finally get to Flygon. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the moves. So keep in mind, you are seeing rock symbols there, but these are in fact Ground-type moves. So for the quick move, you've got Mud Shot, and then Dragon Breath, and then Mud Slap. For the charge moves, you've got Bulldoze, Dragon Claw, Drill Run, Dragon Pulse. So when we are talking about the damage per second, you've got Dragon Breath for the quick move, and then Dragon Claw for the charge move. So it seems like it would be beneficial to go ahead and go with the Dragon-type moves with Flygon as opposed to the Ground-type. It doesn't quite have the Ground-type moves that we need, such as potentially Earthquake would be an absolutely good option to have. But anyways, I think you will enjoy Flygon quite a bit. I don't really know if there is a very good comparison Pokemon. This is kind of the first of its kind that we have seen. So coming in at number 6 on our list is in fact Milotic. So Milotic is going to be a really cool Pokemon for us to have, and this is going to be a little bit different when we are talking about how it will evolve. So first off, the max CP is going to be 2,542 for Milotic. Milotic is in fact a water-type Pokemon. And when we go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree, this is going to be very similar to something like Gyarados, but we are going to see something different with the candies. So up first, we have Feebas will evolve into Milotic. So for Milotic, it is going to require a Prism Scale and only 50 candies. Personally, I think this is a better option. That's actually what I would like to see with Gyarados as opposed to 400 candies. That is so much. So thankfully, in this case, Milotic is not going to resemble Gyarados in this manner. So let's go ahead and take a look at the potential moveset for Milotic. So up first for the quick moves, we have Bubble and then Water Gun. They are tied on the damage per second. And then when we look at the charge move, we've got Aqua Tail, Scald, and then Water Pulse. So as you notice, once again, we're not seeing Hydro Pump. Obviously, a Hydro Pump would be an incredible moveset to have with it. So if you are looking at damage per second, Water Gun or Bubble would be a good option, and then Aqua Tail would be a good option for the charge type move. So coming in at number 5 on our list is yet another Gen 3 starter Pokemon, and that is Blaziken. So Blaziken is actually one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 3 for a lot of reasons. Definitely one of the most well-known and a very powerful Pokemon. I am a huge fan of the fighting type as well, so it is cool to see yet another strong fighting type. But speaking of that, Blaziken is actually a dual-type Pokemon with fire and then also fighting with a max CP of 2,858. But let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree on the left side. So we've got Torchic, evolves into Combusken, and then finally up to Blaziken. It will also follow the typical candy structure of the evolution from 25 and then 100 candy. But let's go ahead and take a look at the potential movesets. So when we look at the quick move, we've got Ember, Counter, and then Fire Fang. And then for the charge moves, we've got Fire Blast, Brick Break, Fire Punch, and then Close Combat. So for me personally, I'm thinking that I want another very strong fighting type Pokemon, so I'll probably err on the side of the fighting type Pokemon, which coincidentally is actually the best combination that you can have when you're looking at damage per second. So if you go with Counter at 13.33, and then secondly for the charge move you go with Close Combat, that is going to be the highest damage per second combination that you can come up with. Don't let Close Combat throw you off. I know that a lot of people think the Dynamic Punch is the best option, and it is a good option, but they're both very close to each other, and obviously since Dynamic Punch is not an option at all, Close Combat is definitely a close second that I would settle for. So coming in at number 4 on our list is the final starter Pokemon from Gen 3, and that is Swampert. So Swampert is going to have a max CP of 2,967. Swampert is yet another dual-type Pokemon of water and then also ground-type. Let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree. So up first we have Mudkip, evolves into Marshtomp, and then we've got Swampert. So once again, we are following the typical candy structure of 25 and then 100 candies. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the potential movesets because this is going to be interesting. Keep in mind these should be ground type, not rock, but for the quick moves we've got Bubble, Mud Shot, Water Gun. And then for the charge moves, we've got Aqua Jet, Bone Club, Scald, and Bulldoze. So this is really a toss-up. I'm a little bit curious to see how this is going to work because some of these moves I'm not completely familiar with. Bubble and Water Gun, once again, are tying at 10 damage per second. So maybe it would be smart to go with another Water-type move. You potentially could have Scald as the best option for Water-type, but then you also have a toss-up on the ground type with Bone Club and then Bulldoze. So honestly, Swampert just seems like a good utility Pokemon. Maybe not an expert at one potential thing, but definitely some good coverage having the water and then also the ground type as well. So coming in at number 3 on our list is in fact Metagross. So Metagross is going to be an absolute monster with a potential high CP of 3,377. Metagross is yet another dual-type Pokemon. You are noticing a trend here. So it is consisted of Steel-type and then also Psychic. Absolutely a very interesting combination for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree on the left side. So you've got Beldum, you've got Metang, and then evolving finally into Metagross. Once again, following the typical candy structure of 25 candies up to 100 candies. And let's go ahead and take a look at the potential moveset. So you've got on the quick moves, Iron Tail, Extra Sensory, Metal Claw. And then for the charge moves, you've got Flash Cannon, Mirror Coat, Gyro Ball, and then Psychic. So this is kind of an interesting one because technically the Steel type moves are definitely the strongest. You would have Iron Tail and then Flash Cannon, but it is also a good kind of secondary for Psychic with Extra Sensory and then also Psychic as well. So it's really a toss-up. Personally, I don't really have a lot of strong Steel-type Pokemon, so I might just go ahead and keep Metagross kind of in that field just because I do have some strong Psychic type and I wouldn't want to cross over. I feel like I wouldn't use Metagross quite as much if I tried to use it strictly as a Psychic type Pokemon. So coming in at number 2 on our list is, in fact, Salamence. So Salamence is going to have a max CP of 3,484. Salamence is yet another dual-type Pokemon with Dragon and Flying type. Let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree. So we've got Bagon, Shelgon, and then finally evolving into Salamence. Once again, following the typical candy structure of evolution at 100 to evolve into Salamence. Let's go ahead and take a look at the move types. For the quick move, we've got Dragon Breath, Air Slash, and then Dragon Tail. For the charge moves, we've got Dragon Claw, Aerial Ace, Dragon Pulse, and then Air Cutter. So the best combination that you can potentially have as far as damage per second goes is Dragon Tail, and then we have Dragon Claw. So Salamence seems like a very good option to kind of stick with Dragon. Technically, if you wanted to, you could have a good flying type moveset, but because it doesn't have something like Sky Attack, I just don't know if I could make this Pokemon and force it into the flying type. Flying type aren't really used quite as much in Pokemon Go as Dragon type is, so I definitely think that you should stick with the Dragon type moves if you do in fact get a Salamence. So coming in at number 1 on our list, to most, this is not a surprise. Is it a little boring? Is it a little bit predictable? Yes, but it is definitely a topic of conversation, and that is Slaking. So Slaking is predicted to be at 4,372 CP. Personally, I think that will be nerfed in the future before the release. But Slaking is a normal type Pokemon, and the compensation for this is believed to be that there is an ability that comes along with Slaking that forces it to wait a turn. Therefore, it attacks half the amount of time as another Pokemon would. I don't know if Pokemon Go is ready to introduce abilities just yet. I think that they really need to get the battling system down to a T, perfect it before they try and introduce something like that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the evolution tree. So you have Slakoth, Vigoroth, and then finally you've got Slaking. So once again, following the typical candy structure of 25 and then up to 100 candies to get a Slaking. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the potential moveset. So personally, I think that the website just wasn't really getting creative with it. Rank boost, come on, man. Just because it's normal type doesn't mean literally all of the moves have to be normal type. A very interesting comparison would be something like a Snorlax, but Snorlax has Lick, which is a ghost type move, and then you've also got Earthquake as well, which it seems a little random, but it makes a lot of sense since it is such a big Pokemon. It can definitely cause some Earthquakes. But when we look at the quick move, we've got Hidden Power. Hidden Power could change some things for sure. Hidden Power can actually be any Pokemon type throughout the entire game, so that would be very interesting. What type would you want? Let me know in the comment section below if you could get any type as the Hidden Power. And then you've got Quick Attack and then Transform. And then on the charge moves, you've got Hyper Beam, Vice Grip, Struggle, and then Wrap. So when you're talking about damage per second, personally what I would go with is probably Hidden Power. And then for the charge moves, Hyper Beam is absolutely a monster move, so you would have to go with Hyper Beam for sure if you get yourself a Slaking. So that is the end of the video, but I definitely wanted to once again say thank you to everybody who has been showing support, whether you have subscribed, liked the video, commented, or even all three of them. I just wanted to say that I truly do appreciate everybody who's watching these videos and building a community, but until next time, I'll see you later.